Welcome to Con Carolina's Television. I'm Bronner.
And I'm back.
Yay!
Hi, guys.
Welcome back. Beautiful Ray's here.
Yay!
You forgot.
And obviously, she comes here because we're talking about The Witcher, of course, because, The Witcher's hot. So she has to be here.
I took time out of my busy schedule for this.
Of course, yes. That's what you got to do. It's about priorities.
Girl's got to do what a girl's got to do.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
we also have a man who needs no introduction whatsoever because he's been on the show so many times. But we have
Which
Nick
one? Because
Barone.
Yeah,
They've both been on the show quite a bit. But that's Nick Barone. CCTV's Nick Barone.
They kept me.
We decided to
we
around
adopted
a little
you.
bit.
And then we also have producer extraordinaire and Pep and CCTV Sean Ewing.
This guy.
Oh my gosh, yes. This is the guy who in my messages, if you ever see me give special shout out to Sean, here he is.
That's him. That's
the face. It's the face behind the scenes. It's the face that makes everything happen.
It is. Mm-hmm. It's a good face, and he makes beautiful things happen. Well, the buzz has been
since we're
obviously
talking about beautiful things,
right?
Oh, see now that's a good segue.
Yeah, kind of like the end of the beautiful thing era is happening after this next season. Yeah,
it's with a heavy heart that we at CCTV have to inform you that apparently Henry Cavill is no longer going to be the Witcher after season 3.
Who's Henry Cavill?
We have feelings about that.
He's the Witcher.
He's the Witcher.
I thought he was the Bard. I thought he was the other dude.
AKA Superman. AKA
I know him as Superman.
AKA, that's the guy that's got the same, whose mom has the same name as Batman's mom.
Right, Martha. Yeah,
Martha.
That's right.
That's it. Martha's son. That's who it is.
Martha's son.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Gotcha. All right.
You're setting him up bad. Let's talk about his worst shots.
Bronner, are you okay? Bronner, you look like you're having a moment.
Yeah, I stroked out for a second.
Nice save, Martha. Was it playing through your head? Because it did in mine.
Martha. What? Huh?
Martha? But I know we have a lot of feelings on this.
Yeah, lots.
I'm sure you have a lot of feelings on this as well. So we're going to sit and talk about our feelings a little bit. First and foremost, on their choice of a replacement.
Yeah, so I was reading the tweet. Did everyone read the actual tweet from Cavill?
I did.
His official, ever graceful. You can't put that.
Eloquent. Yeah,
very
he's
eloquent
beautiful
and
man.
graceful.
Do you think he wrote it?
Well spoken.
Oh, no, you have to be there, right? Let's think about this, right? If he had gone out there and been like, screw the next guy who replaces me, and everything was terrible, it wouldn't really go over that well for PR,
Yeah.
Oh, I think he would have been just fine.
Well, he would have been, but there might have been a clause in the contract.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, peaceful. They're just trying to make a peaceful transition.
He did.
I'm not sure how it's going to
left it ambiguous. He did not say one way or another as far as why he would be leaving the show. I think we all know the reason why.
No, we don't. Why?
Yes, we do.
Actually, there's no definitive reason out there. There's lots of speculation.
There's lots of speculation.
He's reprising as Superman. I know that.
Yes.
Right.
He's in the contract for that, I think. Yeah.
Yes, and just
turned down. So could he not do Witcher and Superman at the same time? Is that why?
So there's a lot of questions. This is a space where there's a lot of just speculation is happening because he didn't say why he left 100%. The timing has made people initially people assumed it was because of Superman, but there's a bunch of other theories that have been developed as to why would he leave a role that he was so attached to, that he cared so much about as a Superman.
That he begged for. He really campaigned for it.
Yeah,
he did.
He fought for that role, and to believe the surface level hype of he's not doing the role anymore because of the Superman filming is just a little bit naive, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You think it was forced out?
No,
No.
I don't think so.
Because that would make sense. Like, why would they? He's so iconic in that role.
So the speculation is that in season 3 they decided to go this. This is the book.
They're starting to
creative differences.
This is the book series, and he wants to stay in this path, and they're going this way with it.
So creative differences.
It actually
makes sense.
It goes back even further than that because people have been doing deep dives and they've been taking a look at like interviews he's been in where he's talked about it, and it sounds like he fought really hard for the role, but it sounds like he continued having to fight while he was doing the role. And every season he would have to like take the script and write on their notes like give Geralt more dialogue. This doesn't match the direction.
Honestly, we were even lucky to get a season 3 out of it because of the fighting between him and the writers and the creators.
It was the producer, the executive producer, Lauren. What's her name?
I honestly, as somebody that is a nerd, I can respect that. As how many times do we watch a movie and we're like, man, it was nothing like the book, or we watch a movie and it's like, man, it's nothing like the comic. And for somebody in a position of power like that to say, I want to do this, I'm going to make it successful, but you need to stick to the content.
It's kind of the opposite of what they did with Game of Thrones, because Game of Thrones heavily deviated.
Oh yeah,
they kind of wanted to. Plus, George R. R. Martin wasn't exactly writing as fast as they needed him to. But the whole point, I mean, everything was deviating so much that you just kind of they were two separate entities at that point. Whereas here it sounds like they're trying to get back to the book, and he's like, no, let's do our thing.
No, opposite.
Yeah,
they're wanting to do their thing. He wants
okay. Oh, he wants to go to the book. He wants to be true to the book.
Yeah. So, and it was either one of the former writers or producers. Like, don't quote me on this. There's like an actual interview where they said that at certain times, like it became clear because the writers would outright say it that they detested the source material. They did not like it, and as like a huge fan, like that clashed with his MO because he had played the video games first, then he went ahead and he read the novels. So he was a super fan. He came into the role wanting it to follow the vision of the mythos. And he just faced friction time and time again.
Yeah,
there's only so much that you can only fight that so much before you just give up.
Bow out.
Which is what he did. He's like, I can't play this role as to the best of my ability because I just don't believe in it.
Yeah,
that makes sense. I respect that.
And there's really 2 levels to kind of the outrage and the backlash that's going on right now, and that's level 1. Is the fact that he is basically, in the fans' opinion, because it's not solidified, allegedly had enough and is deciding to bow out. And then you have level 2, who they decided as his replacement. And just in case you're living under a rock and haven't heard, it is Liam Hemsworth, not Thor.
You're about to say not to be confused with the other Hemsworth.
Not Thor.
Okay.
Chris Hemsworth, the one you love. Yes. Liam, the other one.
It's like the Baldwins. I mean, you got Alex Baldwin,
and then the other one.
And then you have the others.
And then the other.
I like the Baldwins. I mean, I like them way better than I like Liam Hemsworth. Why don't we get one of the Baldwins to be the Witcher?
I've seen actually, everybody's got their.
I don't think anyone quite has the physique for.
And there's people out there that have put out, fan art and whatnot, and they say they missed a great opportunity of doing like an older Geralt, and having Mads Mikkelsen do it.
That'd be cool.
That would be awesome. But I don't know what direction they're gonna go. I don't know if they're just gonna like drop the guy in there and say, haha, you don't notice the difference.
I mean, he is definitely going to be the White Wolf. I mean, he's not.
In my opinion, if you're going to throw somebody completely different in there and you don't want to follow the storyline anyway, why not just bring in a new Witcher? Like,
that's what I was thinking.
True.
Because there are roles where the name changes, the persona is kind of the same, the idea is the same, but then
like it's another guy. It's not Geralt, but he's still a Witcher.
Yes, they're all called the Witcher, and different people throughout the years, throughout the ages.
Or I mean, there's a whole team of them. I mean, obviously they.
Yeah. So to me, it would make sense that I think it would be better. The fans would receive that better if they introduce it as a different Witcher than if they tried to go, "Hey, don't look behind the curtain. This isn't the
Right.
person."
It's
No, but
possible. I mean, the Marvel movies have been kind of doing that with,
Hmm.
some of their superheroes recently, and but the reactions are kind of mixed. There is that whiplash feeling that fans tend to have when they have their favorite character just removed. Some people are like, "Cool, I'll get on board with whoever the new character is," and some
yeah,
people are like, "No, you should have just recast it." Like Black Panther is facing that. There's
Yep.
many people
Hmm.
that are completely fine with the idea that they're going to have a new Black Panther and it's a completely new character, and some people were just like, "No, you should have recast T'Challa." So fandom is always at war with
It's fickle.
itself. It
It's
really
It
fickle.
is,
is.
but
Yep.
I,
Hmm.
I hope, honestly, looking at the
I hope.
amount of backlash that I'm seeing, I think they need to listen to the fans. I haven't seen a single fan go, you know what, just drop him in the role. I'm going to pretend like nothing's changed.
You
Not
know,
a single person.
I think
You
I agree.
think?
the problem I have with it is that I have not seen Liam Hemsworth.
That's
Liam
what I said, Hope.
Neeson would make a
Liam
decent older.
Neeson,
He would
he
make
has
an
a
older
certain
version.
set of skills.
He
Yeah.
But
does. He absolutely does.
my whole point is that I haven't seen Hemsworth in anything notable that would make me even consider him a good candidate for the
Right.
role. There's nothing in his arsenal that I would say, you know what, you'd make a great Witcher. I just don't
Not just a
see it.
Witcher. You would make a great Gerald.
You'd make a great actor.
Because
Right.
that's
Yeah.
that's what we're talking about here. We're not talking about making him a Witcher. We're talking about making him the Witcher.
They are.
And that is something that Henry
Okay.
Cavill, he ate, breathed, slept, trained, method
Hmm.
acting. He dove into it. And that's a big reason that a lot of the fans and a lot of the geeks and nerds who appreciate the content appreciate and embraced him
Yeah.
because he
Yeah.
showed that level of respect to the role and the character.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Liam Hemsworth was in the Hunger Games.
Mm-hmm.
He was
Uh-huh.
in Independence Day Resurgence.
The remake, yeah, which was terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um.
In Hunger Games, he was the guy that didn't get with Katniss. Just
Yeah.
to clarify.
Yeah.
See,
Yep.
even
That's
Katniss
right. Oh,
didn't
I
pick
remember that
him.
now. Hmm.
Even Katniss didn't pick him.
Mm-hmm. Not to like, okay, not to completely shit on the guy. I'm gonna be real. I feel as bad for Liam Hemsworth as I could for anybody who just signed like probably a multi-million-dollar deal to appear in a Netflix series. So like at the end of the day, he's gonna get his paycheck, so I can only feel so bad. But I feel terrible because he is literally replacing like the perfect casting for The Witcher. They had the guy. He loved
Perfect
the
casting.
character. He looked the part. He played the
Perfect
part. He did a
man.
fantastic job. So replacing him. Oh, and the fans loved him, which is like
Yeah.
the
The
biggest thing,
man
the
built
most
a fucking
important thing.
computer. I'm sorry. He built a
He is,
gaming computer, okay?
Yeah.
yeah, he exactly. He plays Warhammer 40K. He's an actual nerd who looks like an Adonis, and like,
Hmm.
how on earth are you going to replace that guy in the hearts of fans? You're just not. And
It's
so
not gonna
like,
happen.
he is set up for
He's
failure.
Yeah.
perfect.
That's the problem. That's what I kind of feel bad for.
Which is why it's so mind-boggling why they chose to replace him. It makes me think even more that there's friction between Henry Cavill and the creators
For
because they're
sure.
Yeah, I'm
basically
sure there
going,
is.
F you, we're going to replace you. You think you're not
Yeah.
replaceable, we're going to replace you.
And
I mean,
And
he
the fans are going to
mhm.
tell them they're wrong.
I
Yeah,
I
it'll
do
take a
think
dive.
the
Hmm.
the producers did a miscalculation because Henry Cavill at a certain point in time had to say like, I'm out. I'm not doing it anymore. And the
right.
producers at that point in time should have weighed like, what's more
Hey,
important?
Mom.
Henry Cavill being
Hey,
the like
mom.
shining spotlight of this show that everybody's
Hmm.
Mhm.
watching it for, or our writers who don't really care about the source material anyway. Get rid of them, bring in new writers, and keep Henry
Like,
Cavill. I
let's
think
be
they would have been
honest
so
here.
much better.
Am I
Isn't
watching
it?
it for writers or am I watching it for Henry Cavill?
But
Right.
isn't it? Is it the writers though, or is it the people who the purse strings? Usually, it's the people who hold the purse strings that make these decisions, that give these notes to
Right.
the
I think it's a
director,
little bit of
and
both.
he had
and
mentioned
the people,
earlier that the writers didn't like the source material, and
the
since he
writers didn't. Okay.
yeah, and since he is a purist about the source material, I mean, obviously there's a clash there. But
Yeah.
I had read that multiple times that he went to the creator of the series,
Mm-hmm.
the purse string,
Hmm.
and said, "Hey, listen, Geralt would not act like this, not talk like this, or wouldn't be quiet." Yeah, it's kind of cute to like, like his answer to everything is, a grunt or a groan,
Yeah.
but he's really more eloquent. I mean, he gives speeches. I mean,
Hmm.
he's very like, how would you say that? Like, he's very like
Philosophical.
a thespian, like, like
Yeah,
Hmm.
he's wise.
very
He's a
grand,
character.
He's
yeah,
larger than life. Yeah.
very grand. Yeah, so I can understand if you're going to put that type of a cap on that role, that I mean, he's just wanting to burst out, and he's been wanting to burst out for
Hmm.
now going
Three
on three
seasons, right?
seasons, and they don't give him that opportunity. They're writing his dialogue. It's kind of very like, I think the horse actually has more dialogue than he's had. I mean,
I
it's a
will say
shame
this.
because he's a really, really good actor.
I will say
Yeah.
this. I can't bash on the writers 100% because they did happen to write in the hot tub scene. So,
That's
um,
true.
That was a gimme, though. I mean, come
Yeah.
on.
listen, they wrote it in. I got a soft spot in my heart for that.
Well, I
I
got a soft spot in my heart for all of the
We
mature
don't need it. We don't need to hear about your
on
spots.
that.
What I don't get is how do they, if there's a conflict between Cavill and anyone, they're weighing which is more important. Do we need to keep him on
Right.
and kind of go with his vision, or is he not important, and what's more important is our writers? I mean,
Yeah.
writers, there's more behind the story. There's
Definitely
something that
That'll be more to the story.
what could possibly elevate
going
above
after it.
him in that role.
Well, so I do have some feelings on this because I feel like what I came across and I was just saying that like they should have chosen Henry Cavill over their writers. Um, in this case, yes, 100% I think that way because it's like
Hmm.
it's valuing your assets. What is the draw? Are people coming to watch like I hate to say this, but like poorly written fantasy with like very just generic scenes, which is what all the scenes that Henry Cavill is not in are like in The Witcher? Or are they coming
Hmm.
because Henry comes in, plays Geralt, stuns you,
Dominates
draws you
the scene.
in, and you care
Hmm.
Right.
about that character? And so in this case, it's definitely like the actor is making the show. But I
Hmm.
do think that in most like value assessments, it would make more sense to go with what the writers have to say because oftentimes like writers get taken for granted a lot. They're usually the like least paid and have the most
Hmm.
influence on the creative product. Um, so I do like I would understand why a production studio might sway toward the writers, just given that environment and that atmosphere. Um, but I think that they made a misplay in this case for sure.
In
Riddle
certain
me this.
situations, maybe, but not. I don't see that. I don't see the writers being more important than him in this situation.
Listen,
Agreed.
just riddle me this, okay? As a writer stepping onto this, you go, hey, I'm stepping onto a project where there's novels, there's video games, it's an established story. Let me and my ego be so fucking giant that
Hmm.
I think I can do better
Uh huh.
and piss
Yeah.
off an entire fandom of people who enjoy what's already there. Not just piss off the fandom, but piss off the lead actor. How big is your ego?
Yeah.
In hot. Sorry. Go ahead.
When we did the video games and the movies episode last season, one of, I think it was my pick even, or Rachel's pick was The Witcher,
Hmm.
as far as being successful, because there hasn't been a whole lot of transitional situations where you're going to get a good product out of a video game. It's
Yeah.
basically, lightning in a bottle, or whatever you want to call it.
Right.
It's a rare thing. It's a unicorn, right? So, I mean, you sit there and you go, I'm going to do it my way. And he's like, well, you should really do it this way. And they don't listen to him. I would bow out too. Not to mention the fact that he is already slated to be in the sequel for Guy Ritchie's A Man from Uncle, um, which got like relatively not a lot of box office success and not a lot of notoriety, but it got like a really high rating on IMDb. I mean, it was like almost an 8 or 7.5 or something along those lines. Crazy. But it was visually appealing. And of course, it was a Guy Ritchie movie. So it had some funny elements and that kind of stuff. And then he's slated to play a character named Argyle. Don't know a lot about that. And then there's the whole Superman thing.
And Enola Holmes is coming.
Yeah, Enola Holmes 2 is already canned. I mean, it comes out December something, right?
Tomorrow,
2nd?
November 4th.
Oh, tomorrow?
I mean,
It
and
was
a lot of
actually
those projects sound fun, but like there's a huge S-shaped elephant in the room. Like he gets to be Superman again, and as he's been very passionate about The Witcher, but he's also been very passionate about being Superman. Huge
and I think
fan
he's done a
again.
great job
Yeah.
as Superman.
Yeah,
He has, but I also don't think that anybody would mind waiting another 6 months for season 4 to come out so that he can arrange those things. From what I'm seeing in the forums and the chats and the comments, yeah, they've lost everybody. They gambled and lost when
Yeah.
they
Yeah,
decided.
I think that was a
yeah.
And I don't think that it has anything to do with the projects, especially after he fought as hard as he did for the role. For somebody to fight that hard for the role,
Yeah.
I think he would have picked that over Superman, honestly.
I'd like to know Liam Hemsworth couldn't have been their first pick. I can't imagine him being their first pick. So I want to know who else they want to get for this role before they ended up with.
All right, that's a good question. Who do you think?
I think they went after Chris. I think they went after Chris. Because think about it, Chris would be people. Chris would draw them in. People would draw people in.
Right. Another.
I mean, he's not Henry, but.
So you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking like an Alexander Skarsgård.
I think there's a reason they went with Liam, and I think I know why.
Okay.
Because I think again it has to do with like value assessment, and a lot of like there was a lot of good faith towards Henry because people knew that he was a fan of the franchise. Well, Liam was also a professed fan of the franchise, and so I think like some dumb producer was sitting in a room and he was like, well, Liam Hemsworth, he said he was a fan, and look how that worked with Henry. We'll strike lightning twice. Like,
but then they'll end up with the same problem. Henry left because creative differences because they weren't being true to it, and if Liam's a big fan of it, then it's going to be.
But Liam doesn't have as much of a belt under him.
And Liam needed a paycheck.
He doesn't have clout.
He could use this to build his fame.
That's true.
So he will put up with.
Or he could bury them.
Or I don't. I've looked at his IMDb. There's not a lot there to bury him under.
This literally has to be.
He's not that high to begin with, so
that's true.
This is the opportunity of his lifetime for sure.
This is the
yeah. There's a lot of it.
The pressure is on because if this is not the best performance of his life, he might as well just be done.
So
by Hollywood.
This is the opportunity of his lifetime. Like he's jumping into a spiked pit with tigers and like venomous snakes. Like it's bad.
Let me ask you a question here. All right, because we're talking about writers and their creative licensing and whatnot, but I mean, let's think about it. There's a universe where Batman's parents are alive and Bruce Wayne is actually dead, right? And Thomas Wayne takes up the mantle as Batman. But why don't we ever put that story out? Because it's not what's recognized. It's not what fans appreciate. It's not what's going to generate revenue.
Because it's DC.
Nobody was
DC.
talking to you, Sean. Nobody was talking to you.
Oh, do we have a
Marvel
hater?
did it. Marvel did it.
No.
So,
Yeah, I got a few things to
Let's
say
take it
about
up.
Marvel.
with that being said, this is not a Marvel
Hulk?
versus. This is
You
not
open this door.
Thor
a
2.
Marvel versus DC.
Oh my gosh, but that's an idea. We could do a Marvel versus DC episode.
Yeah.
We should do it again.
That would be dangerous.
It's an ongoing battle. We will have to do it again. But with that being said, it's a big
Continue.
story. It's a big, well-known story. And Henry Cavill did that for The Witcher. It was not as well known, but now the popularity is there. So you basically just spit in the face of the guy that made you popular. And you're going to say, we're not going to go with the story that you want.
Make you popular, but it put you in the stratosphere, really.
It really did. Because 90% of the people watching The Witcher never played the game, never read the books.
Yeah.
So
I'm one of them. I never did.
Because it was so well done. I mean, it was visually appealing. The story was good.
Hi there. I'm not new. I'm back.
Right?
We totally missed Ray.
That's the same thing I said. Damn, who's that? Looking fine.
There's also,
I mean, Nick, you're great. Don't get us wrong.
Oh, I
Nick,
know.
you're fantastic. But
I attract mostly a different audience. There might be some overlap there, but yeah.
Yeah, it might be. I think John might be your overlap.
I have another question though.
Overlap for sure.
Speaking of Batman, okay. Speaking of Batman, I do have another question. You know, everybody had the same opinions when they decided to cast Robert Pattinson as Batman, and they were like, "Hold on,
Hemsworth and Robert Pattinson."
Okay.
Stop talking.
Yeah, let's let her finish.
Okay. People were like, oh God, it's going to suck. It's going to tank. He's horrible. He's the Twilight dude. He sparkles. There were comments. And then we gave him a chance. And
I still hated it.
Somebody has a new favorite Batman.
He was
so
fucking great.
You can't really count Liam out until you see it. Like, as much of an idiotic mistake as we can say it is right now, trust me. He's never going to fill Cavill's shoes, but could he possibly do a good job?
Okay.
Oh yeah.
I agree with
that.
Let
me tell you the premise that I read is that they are going to do they're going to do some sort of time shift. Now the time shift's going to be earlier, because Hemsworth is about 10 years Cavill's junior. So he's like 32 and he's 42. Henry's 42, I think. So there's a 10-year, and that's high math, right? But there's 10 years difference there. So they're thinking that might
so are we going
a younger, less seasoned Witcher.
That could maybe work, and maybe that would work better for the writers, since they didn't really care about the source material anyways. They can like just write their Monster of the Week show that they want it to be.
Well, did anyone see the animated Witcher series on Netflix? That came out.
There's 7 years difference.
I meant to watch it, and I didn't get to it.
It's great.
Okay, cool. Though if you do look, the head writer for that, I want you, like, this is homework for everybody. Go ahead and look up, I don't remember his name, the head writer for the animated Witcher, because the main character looks almost identical to him, which if that ain't the Mary Sue story of the evening. You know what? If they're gonna do a time shift,
we don't love fans anymore.
I think there is a way that they could have done a recast, and they could have done time shift, and they could have made it work. But I think instead of going back, they should have gone forward into the future, and they should have cast Sean Bean. Get Sean Bean in there.
That would have been fun. But I still vote Mads Mikkelsen. If they're going forward in time, I still vote Mads Mikkelsen.
There's
but
one
Sean
problem.
Bean's got the physicality.
He does.
But Mads can do anything.
Have you
There's
seen
two problems with Sean Bean.
Polar?
I unfortunately saw the newest Harry Potter movie, and he was a little.
Watch Polar.
Hey, I'm a small guy, okay, and he was a small guy, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Different body types are acceptable.
Watch
He
Polar.
looks like a
Just
Viking.
go look up images from that movie.
Okay.
It was
there's two problems.
Novel.
So. What problems do we have, Sean?
Two problems with Sean Bean. One is, have you heard his statements regarding intimacy coordinators on set? You know what intimacy coordinators are, right? They are choreographers for sex scenes and intimate scenes, right? That's a big deal now. Is intimacy coordinators on set? He is not. He does not like them. He says it destroys the
chemistry,
like the fluidity.
Yes, the fluidity. That's a problem considering. I mean, think of how many intimate scenes there were in the series, right?
Yeah,
and so he's like, no, I don't like them. Well, that's a problem. The second problem is, you'd have to kill him off. You can't kill off the Witcher, and Sean Bean has to be killed off. That is pretty much a rule in Hollywood.
This could be the one time where Sean Bean gets to live.
The one time.
The only. No. I still think, honestly, I really, really, really want to know how they came up with Liam Hemsworth. Because you can rattle off people.
I really think it was one producer saw an interview where Liam said he was a fan of the Witcher series, and they're like, there we go, got it. Same story as Henry, and the fans will love him just as much. No.
Yeah. I think they're trying to bank on what drew the fans to Henry Cavill, and because he was a fan, and they're like, we've got to get somebody else who is a fan.
Yeah.
We have to. Although, the more I noodle it, I really think Skarsgård would have done well too.
Yeah. I do.
Does he have the physique for it?
Have you seen Tarzan?
Did you see The Northman?
Just watch Tarzan. He's naked the entire thing.
Eric Northman? You know who Eric Northman is, right?
I saw the movie Northman.
The main guy.
Oh, that was him? Oh, okay. Cool, gotcha.
Yeah, just watch Tarzan.
I think Nick's right. I think it has to do with him being a fan. So they're trying to pull that in. But I also think it has to do with him being, they feel he's malleable.
Yeah.
He's not going to be up and leave like
he can't afford to bounce.
Or push back, or put a bunch of script notes, or try to argue with writers and producers.
He might offer some opinions, but he's not going to say nope. It's my way or my way. He's not gonna. He's gonna fold if they push back. He'll fold.
Bear, who do you think? Drop a name, Bear.
I think Bear could have made a fantastic
Witcher. Bear would have made a great Witcher. I don't know if
I think you
bad mouthing my baby daddy like that.
Oh,
if they're saying that they're saying the bar is set pretty low already. Just bad mouthing my baby daddy.
Oh,
yeah. I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't know about that. That's not a popular opinion. But I was just trying to say, Ray, I agree with the point that you were making about Liam, which is that we don't know that he's going to be terrible, and I think that the most reasonable thing to do is to watch episode 1 of season 4 and build an opinion from that. And if it sucks, it sucks. You'd stop watching, but at least you gave him a chance. I will say, though, with Robert Pattinson, so when Robert Pattinson got casted, a lot of people were very furious about him being Batman. And I wasn't, because he actually became an accomplished actor past Harry Potter and Twilight. He did incredible things. The Lighthouse is fantastic. And if you haven't seen it, watch that film.
Movie.
Good Time was great.
So I had a feeling he would do well.
Okay. Bear has redeemed himself. He was talking about Robert Pattinson. Okay.
Gotcha.
The bar was set low there. Thank you. Love you. I don't have to cut you anymore.
Was that a Ben Affleck dig then?
Ben Affleck makes a terrible Batman.
So listen, Ben Affleck is a horrible Batman, but he's the perfect Bruce Wayne.
Oh no, I agree. No, I agree there. I agree. He's a great Bruce Wayne, but but we're talking about Batman.
He's standing right there. Stop.
I don't care. I will tell him to his face. You're a bad Batman.
Yeah. But Batman vs Superman, a terrible trash film. It was awful.
God,
if you haven't watched it, don't. But the Batman scenes and the Wonder Woman parts were like the best parts of that movie.
But
Yeah, well, the
the
Wonder
best
Woman, yeah.
Batman
Scout,
is the worst Bruce Wayne. Because Michael Keaton's the best Batman. He is the worst Bruce Wayne.
Not the worst.
Not to make this a Batman episode, but I'm just saying.
it's
Every
Bronner
episode
does that enough himself.
Look at the background. It's where all our minds go.
So, just out of curiosity, because it hasn't come out yet, how telling do we think season 3 is going to be?
Do you think he just phoned it in?
Like, what are they going to give away in season 3 as far as how they're going to approach season 4?
No, I don't think he phoned it in. I
No,
think season
absolutely not.
3 is going to be good. And I think that season 3, so if this has been like multiple seasons of buildup of him clashing and getting frustrated, him clashing, getting frustrated, season 3 might end up being the best season because it's probably like he fought the hardest, probably got as many W's as he
Sticking it
could,
to him
but at
too.
the end of that process got so exhausted that he
He's
was like,
done. Yeah.
screw it, I'm gone. You know?
Yeah, see you later, bye.
Yep, I can totally see that. Yeah. When does season 3 come out?
Oh, I don't know.
2023. I don't know
Is it
when.
March?
Oh, okay. It's so still a ways away.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, I want to
Gotcha.
say like late December, early spring 2023.
So it feels like I think we need a season 1 and 2 watch party in preparation for season 3.
Okay, this is quintessential Hemsworth, right? So I just read this. In 2009, Hemsworth was selected to act opposite Sylvester Stallone in the 2010 film The Expendables, but his character was written out of the script.
Well,
Did you see him?
Expendables though is
Billy the Kid.
that's not
He's
a
like
good
5 minutes.
standard to hold.
They made 7
Expendables
of
was
them, or
how
whatever.
many big names can we just cram into one movie? One terrible, terrible movie.
I'm not even gonna lie. I kind of like the Expendables.
Yeah, I
Well,
like
it
the
depends
franchise,
on
bro.
it depends on what you're approaching it for. If you look at it for just a bunch of big names and a bunch of
Hi,
explosions,
Gigi.
Hey,
I mean,
Gigi.
sure. But like
Right.
when you put Hemsworth against that huge cast, I mean, of course he's going to get written out.
In like the first 5 minutes.
It is a
I
huge
just
cast.
found
It's
it
like
humorous. I mean, it's not
retired
like
action heroes.
yeah, it's not like it was like the pinnacle. You know,
By the way, Witcher still doesn't have a release date. It just says summer now.
of
Summer 23.
Yeah, last I
Okay.
heard was spring. Now it's summer.
Hey, Gigi.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think that there's going to be huge problems with season 4, and I think that it's probably going to flounder and die, and
Yeah, they're probably gonna have
which to me it would be
decent
like
episode 1.
I would just end it right there and start some other project because there's so much material out there that has got to be better than trying to replace.
See, that's
him.
my point, though.
Why would you try to even
there
try
has
it?
to be some underlying drama there for them to want to say "f you" that bad that they couldn't. If they want to take the story in a totally different direction, they could have created a new character. But instead, they're taking that very same character and saying "f you, Cavill."
Yeah.
We don't care what you want.
Yeah.
I mean,
We're going to
don't-
move forward with a new person, different story, and call it the same name. When they had the opportunity, if he wanted out to say, you know what, we're going to create our own baby. It's going to be reminiscent of Gerald, but it's going to be our own baby. And they're like, you know what, instead of doing that, we're just going to say, whoop, there's Liam. Pretend he's Henry Cavill.
Yeah. It's the same person. He's always been there. Yeah.
Right.
I think you're right. I think there's something we don't know.
I mean, yeah, and I don't want to. In no way do I want to defend the producers and the writers and all of their decision making here. But like, they didn't get rid of him. They were willing to keep Henry. Although after season 2, apparently there was some discussion, or at least like the rumor rags are talking about that there was some discussion about replacing him. But they didn't make the decision. It sounds like it was Henry's decision to walk. But obviously because things just weren't going his way. It was an environment where he felt like he had to keep chiming in and advocating for the lore, and people weren't listening,
Mm-hmm.
which
That is your
sucks.
perfect opportunity. He wants to stay the course with the books and the character, and they don't. So if they
Right.
don't want to do that, create a new character and say, hey,
That does,
Liam is now going to be Sebastian of Rivia.
that does make sense because then the
It's
writers can write whatever the heck they want.
anything. But now you're asking me to pretend that this B-rated actor is Henry Cavill. I don't. I'm
But
not
I,
okay with
I mean, you're
this.
right.
A lot of
Yeah.
times I do understand the hesitancy of being like, here's this new guy, here's Sebastian, right?
it's a
Because a lot of
gamble.
times those
It's more
things
of a gamble.
fail.
Right.
Like
All of
they
this is a gamble.
fail.
But it's more of a gamble the other way.
They bring in a new guy and people are just like, no, we don't want a
Yeah.
new guy, we want our old guy. And so like I kind of get why they decided to keep it as Geralt, because it's like The Witcher is Geralt's story. There are other Witchers in the universe, but the whole novels, the games, they all follow the
Mm-hmm.
same dude. Replacing him
Exactly.
would be very
You
difficult.
don't change the
Yeah.
story to begin with.
Right. I think the bigger issue is the
The
fact that a
Witcher is
producer
his
wasn't
story.
smart enough to asset manage correctly and realize that Henry
Yeah.
Cavill matters way more than the other writers. Like he just does.
Yeah. Yep. I agree with you.
And what's wrong with letting a guy that is a very accomplished actor have more lines and be more true to the
Right.
character? I mean,
The
Mm-hmm.
man's about to
really,
be freaking Superman. And
really,
you're
what
like,
does it
we don't
affect?
care about your opinion?
I just can't wait to see him in Enola Holmes too.
Me too.
I can't wait to see him in the next DC project because, like, holy crap, DC has some good news coming. With James Gunn is now like one half of their Kevin Feige, like he is there as a creative
He's the
officer,
man.
James Gunn is great.
masterminding stuff, and he's gonna get to work with Henry Cavill as Superman. That's awesome. Like,
Stick
there's
that
a
in your
reason to be
Marvel
excited if you're a DC fan.
100%.
I'm keeping my.
Yeah, you keep your
Yeah,
mouth shut.
you just keep your
Mhm,
mouth
keep your mouth
shut.
shut.
You're
I
you're
love
lucky
Marvel
you're even on
too.
the show, John.
That's true. I don't even know I'm
You're
here.
lucky you're on the show.
We are lucky.
We are lucky.
Aw.
Aw.
I'll save those for the next Marvel
miss you
DC
guys.
episode part 2.
I don't want to go back
What
to
did-
work.
We don't want you to go back to work either.
I
Ever.
want to do it.
Yeah, I don't want you to.
Yeah, just have our home foreclose on us. All that good
You know,
stuff.
we just got bills to pay. That's all.
It's
That's
fine.
all.
It's fine.
But yeah, I mean, all in all, the predictions are in. I mean, it's not going to be a
Yeah,
successful
it's-
run for Liam.
Hey,
I don't
wait, no, it could be. Liam could do well.
But
I think Liam could do well, but the show could still tank.
I hope he surprises me. I hope it does great. I mean,
and that's the thing is I'm gonna give it a chance. Same as I gave Batman a chance, and somebody fell in love with Robert Pattinson.
he's right there. He's right there.
Jesus, Lord have mercy. Because I enjoy the story. So, I enjoy what they created. I'm going to give it a chance and I'm going to rate them heavily. It's not going to be an easy chance. It's not going to be the same chance I give them if Liam Hemsworth was starting season 1. That would have been we'll see how this goes. This is more of a let's see how bad you screwed it up.
Now he's being measured instead of being able to start something on his own.
That's true.
You have been measured and
Things are
left
stacked against him. It's not his fault. It's what he's coming into.
And it's possible that Liam has this entire time been a diamond in the rough. A lot of the roles that he's had have been supporting roles. Very few times was he like the leading man in a franchise. So we might get to see like Liam Hemsworth just break out.
Blossom.
Incredible thing.
He has
the Nicholas Sparks one he did with was that Miley Cyrus? That's how they started dating.
I don't know.
You said
he was
Nicholas
very
Sparks are
good.
talking some like romance thing, right?
Yeah, Nicholas Sparks' romance.
It's a very different genre, you know.
I know that.
I think he's been in Chris's shadow so bad.
Yeah.
If you want a Hemsworth, you go for Chris, right? So I think if they want someone that's like a Hemsworth, they're going to go for Chris, and so he ends up catching only the support, like you said, the supporting roles, all
or
of the
the B
stuff that
movies.
the B movies, the stuff that Chris is like, no, that's I'm not doing that. So he ends up having to do that. So if someone wants someone of the Hemsworth, they're going to go for Chris and not him. And
Yeah.
now I think this is a chance for him to really make a name for himself.
Well, yeah,
Possibly.
because up until this point, everyone thought, I mean, he's just riding the coattails of his brother, right? I mean, basically, right?
I
He's not
Well,
really as
I don't know.
funny.
I,
He's
I don't
not
know
Well,
about
as
riding
funny.
coattails. I
no.
think I think it's more if he's in his brother's
It's,
shadow.
but it's his name that's carrying.
All
If he
right.
wasn't a Hemsworth,
So
he
hold on.
But he's
wouldn't
still a
get
good
the
actor.
award.
He's a good act. He's a
he
decent
is. He's a
actor.
good
So
actor.
apparently, he has a movie coming out
Uh huh.
called Poker Face.
Yep. Yep. Mm-hmm.
IMDb is giving this movie an 8.5.
Wow.
Wow.
It comes
What is
out November 16th. I want to watch it.
Ooh. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
want to watch it.
Oh,
And maybe
it's
this
got
is Lynn's
it's
Lighthouse.
got
Robert Pattinson has
mhm.
Lighthouse and it changed the way people thought of him as an actor. Maybe this does the same thing.
Good
It's
time
got Russell
visit. I
Crowe in it
mean,
too.
how does he
You know,
look?
I don't know. He's not.
I actually am going to go ahead and say that I think being Chris Hemsworth's brother has probably been more negative for Liam's career than it's
Hmm.
been positive because he's always
I would
been weighed
agree.
against this guy who's got this Herculean build, who's handsome. And meanwhile, Liam is also a very handsome, very like charismatic actor. He's also very tall. He's just got an Apollonian build. And so
Hmm.
you compare the two of them together and people are always talking about Chris, but in a different universe where he doesn't have another brother to be compared to, like this is a massively handsome guy who knows how to act
He's
and
a
could
Yeah,
good
have
looking
a very
guy.
successful career.
No
I
doubt.
think I think you're totally right, Nick. Absolutely. On his own, standing on his own without being in the shadow, I think he would be a very different
I
caliber.
I think he would be still in Hollywood, waiting tables if his last name wasn't Hemsworth.
I
Well,
think
that's
he's,
the third
I
brother.
don't, yeah, because
Do
there's
y'all
yeah,
know there's the
Luke.
third Hemsworth?
There's
yeah,
Luke
He's
Hemsworth, right?
tiny. The rest
yeah.
of them got all the
I don't
tiny,
even know what
the
Luke
tall
looks like.
genes.
Mailman Hemsworth.
Tiny Hemsworth is like comes up to like
Milkman
maybe
is
their
milk,
like
Milkman
baby.
Hemsworth.
clavicle if
But
he's lucky.
Wow.
Which is fine. It's okay if you're short, and I feel for him because he also looks like a handsome enough guy. But
All right, so
I think it's a blessing and a curse to be a
just
Hemsworth. Same
yeah,
thing like you were talking about the Baldwins.
Hmm.
But here's the thing is the Baldwins were smart enough that each one did something to make that
yeah,
name for
a little
themselves.
different.
They're not ones you even Baldwin.
The
It's
crazy one.
yeah. But that's the thing is, and that's what Liam has failed to do. And he's had plenty of time to do it. He's not new to the business.
Yeah.
And he has failed in every role to make that name for himself.
Well, I mean, we're sitting here talking about him, so he's got a name. Obviously,
true.
he's
Just not a name that we trust with Geraldo Rivia.
that's kind of the
That's very
point. Like,
true.
I'm gonna wait and see. I mean, I don't even want to give the guy the benefit of the doubt at this point because it needs to be proven.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna wait. The proof is in the pudding. Liam, I mean, more power to you. If you can do it, do it.
Unfortunately, we don't do spoilers. Otherwise, after episode 1, we'd probably have a recap.
Right. But,
But
to recap
after
this
the
episode,
season, after the season,
is it going to happen? Nick, is it going to be a good show?
Is it going to be a good show? I'm going to wait and see. I want to
mm,
err on the side of taking a look at the actual material. I will say that no matter what, I do think this is a W for Liam. I think this is a win because even if he sucks, he
Yep.
still gets a paycheck, and it's going to be
well,
sizable.
it depends on what you consider a W.
Yeah. Oh, a win is
If it
he
ruins
got
his
paid
It
and
could
career,
got
is
be his
it worth
last
it?
exposure.
paycheck.
He could be
I
working
think
at
if
Sam's Car Wash after this.
I think if he does well in the role, even if the show itself tanks, I think if he does decent, if he does good as in the role, then it'll be a win for him.
Yeah.
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 All right.
Now,
So that was our opinion on
Why didn't I get an
this.
opinion?
Go
Yeah.
ahead. Give us your opinion. My life.
Why was that sarcastic?
No,
Did
because I
you
thought
heard
you
that
had
too? Yeah.
mentioned it. Y'all
Fine
kind
if
of
you have
disagree.
opinions.
Entire
Someone's sleeping on the
episode
couch
talking about
tonight.
my opinion. That's why I don't get an
Because we have
opinion.
2 minutes to make our
Okay, well,
announcement.
my opinion very quickly is that I am going to watch it. I am going to give him a chance. I don't think that it's going to go well as a whole. Do I think that he's going to do well? I don't know. I'm going to watch that other movie and see how I feel about him after that.
Yeah. Good points.
Okay. So we have 2 minutes left and we still have a winner.
Guess just one quick question or one quick thing. Robert Pattinson in Tenet, amazing. Okay. Anyway,
Yeah, he was good. That you're right. I give you that because well, never mind. That's a whole nother show. We're not getting that now.
all right. No, I'm gonna turn it over to my beautiful wife and let her announce our winner.
So in the paranormal episode that I was unable to be a part of, I did happen to pitch an idea that apparently everybody seemed to love about having a contest. We changed the contest though. So you guys that watch the episode know that we have been mulling over the idea of doing our own little paranormal investigation. And it is going to come to fruition. And we put the challenge to you guys to give us your spookiest, scariest paranormal event. And you guys definitely came through. There were a lot of really good stories to choose from. But as a collective, we kind of put it together and we
wait. Why don't we just Nick, who did you pick kind of thing? And then Rachel, Ray, who do you pick, Ray? And then I'll tell you who I picked.
Okay.
Because maybe it's not the same person.
But we all agreed it's this person.
Yeah, it is the same person though.
Oh, okay.
We're just gonna grab that and pull the rug from out underneath you. We all picked the same person.
Make it all extra and stuff, and it was really.
It was me. It was me, wasn't it? You picked me. I appreciate that. I graciously accept. Even though I didn't submit anything, I graciously accept the.
You graciously accept to be the cameraman. That's what you.
I'm glad you're gonna be there. I really am.
Somebody's got to keep Bronner in line.
That's true.
Possible.
So, is that the same Gigi that's in the chat?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That is the same Gigi that's in it. Gigi, you won.
Yay, Gigi! Whoa!
You did it, Gigi.
Yay!
We're proud of you, Gigi.
Sparkles.
Listen, I'll tell you right now, when I was reading them and I was looking at the people, I was like, Gigi, Ariana, don't even bother asking. Oh, it took me a minute to read that, and I was like, what the hell?
Yeah, she's.
But Gigi is our winner. So we are putting it together. We do have a solid on the location.
We have the location.
It is going to be at the Grievous Gallery in Salisbury.
Ooh.
Tim Demers has generously offered this up to us. It is a place of great emotion, and I think that's why it's going to
very
be
active.
There's a lot of emotion. It's a break room, and it's one of those places that you go in and you're all emotional and you break a bunch of shit. You just break glass and dishes and plates, and so a lot of people do bring their emotions there, and they kind of offload that. So that I think will play a good part.
If you go to YouTube and go to Graveyard Boulevard, their newest video is filmed at the Grievous Gallery, and it'll show you the break room and stuff. And plus, it gives Ray Franks, who is a really integral part of Con Carolina's, some well-needed exposure, because it is really a fantastic new album. So go watch that video and you'll see what the break room is.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think we've just about wrapped it up.
Real quick, speaking of Con Carolinas, I heard a little rumor that those tickets are on sale right now. Is that right?
And they're cheap.
Oh, yes.
I like cheap stuff.
Yeah, so you can get them for a nice price, a good discounted price. Get them while the
getting's good.
The getting's good. The dealer applications are open. I believe guest applications are open. Just go to concarolinas.org and it'll give you all kinds of different paths you can go down. And then the other thing I want to mention is also on November 11th, we are going to have a charity live stream, and it starts at 2:00. But Nick and I believe it's going to be Nick. We're just double checking scheduling, but are going to be in Mooresville at a coffee shop that is very veteran centric. They give free coffee to veterans, and they have a giant museum, or not giant, but
the boys
a really
are going to
well
be
done museum.
down there interviewing the owner, some of the staff, and just talking to them about what we do, why it's important, and we're going to use that to kind of kick off the charity stream for veterans on Veterans Day. 12 hours. Do not miss it. Even if you can't watch all 12 hours, you got 30 minutes in there for us.
And
we're actually making an entire weekend of it. Actually, we're doing it starts with the 12 hours, and then we're gonna pick it up again on Saturday, and then pick it up again on Sunday. So
see, this is what happens when I have to work 12 hours at night and all I get to do is sleep during the day.
But if you so definitely show up and support Mission 22. We have all kinds of shenanigans planned. I've heard I've heard one of them involves a lot of McRibs, and John's.
I love McRib.
But
John and McRibs are gonna meet.
I'm not sure what a McRib is, but they're delicious.
There's a lot of them planned.
All right.
Sounds great.
So who are we
we're gonna raid into, is it Jay maybe? I don't think we raided into Jay recently.
We haven't raided into Jay in a while. Well, I haven't been here in a while.
No, it's been pretty much Nev and Hope and Bear.
And Bear. Yeah, so we're gonna raid into Jay.
All right, Jay. We're gonna
congratulations, Jay.
But really appreciate you guys being here. I have missed you all tremendously. Hopefully I won't be doing this third shift thing much longer, but these guys, very capable.
And we have some amazing episodes planned for you in the future. So please keep checking.
Come back, see us.
All right. Bye, guys.
From Carolina,
everybody.
Peace out. Love.